and friend. That is Mr. Davis Ampumuza. He is a petroleum geoscientist and an author of two books, which I am seeing right now.
Okay.
And
tapping
the
to
first
your
one
breast.
is tapping Uganda's oil wells. And that was advice to the government of Uganda. And then the second one is a mysterious oil ditch. He's also a former lecturer at St. Augustine University, and we basically wanted to have this discussion on FID. FID is
The final investment
Yeah.
decision.
final investment
This
decision.
was announced
yes.
yesterday.
Mm.
The CEO of Total Energies was present, and also
That's
Sinok.
actually-
Sinok, there are some figures here. I even fear reading them out loud because I feel like I voted, but I don't know. But $10 billion is to be invested into the mega project, which is going to be from Kilenga, I believe, in the lake. It's basically the Albertine region. From Kilenga and the Kingfisher project.
Yes.
That's actually 36 trillion
Wow.
Uganda shillings, and also to be put in 1,400 kilometers to the export pipeline to the Tanga port in Tanzania.
Yes.
Yes, and we're definitely going to find out more about it, why it is important to you and I, much more. And just starting off here, welcome to the show, Davis.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Right. Now, for me, geoscientist, I don't know what course you have studied to be a petroleum geoscientist, but I'm actually very glad that you are here with us today. Now, just to start this off, could you just explain, maybe there's somebody out there who has not heard of the FID, or if they've heard of it, they just know what it is in full, final investment decision. But what is this FID and why is it important to us?
Well, thank you very much for hosting me on the show. I think everyone is excited, especially those who have been following up the story of oil in Uganda.
We are very excited.
And the story of oil actually began almost a century ago here. People have always known we have oil. Different governments have put in an effort, and until 2006, that's when a discovery was made. And for us, what we term as a discovery in the technical world is when you drill and encounter oil. Otherwise, before 2006, we knew we had the potential for oil in Uganda, but we could never call it a discovery until a company drills the oil and actually encounters the oil.
Right.
And so until 2006, that's a long time of exploration time. And since 2006, there have been efforts. When we discovered oil, there was a lot of joy everywhere, and we thought, in fact, since 2006, there have been about 4 scenarios of expectation of fast oil. Because I think by 2006, the first people were saying we shall get, technical people actually, were getting fast oil by 20, I think 11. Then from there by 2017, then 2019. So it has been a push, and there have been so many factors causing the delay, because in the first place, I think the government needed to build capacity. We needed to have some of these departments. You now see the Petroleum Authority of Uganda for regulation. You see the
Uganda National Oil Company.
Uganda National Oil Company, and we also needed to train our own people to be in those positions.
Right.
But it took a long time, and very many people really kind of almost lost hope. And for instance, our neighbor Kenya discovered oil in 2012. Yes, and just the other year, 2019, that was their first
Wow.
first crude oil export.
Wow.
So that in itself really made us feel like, why have we over delayed?
Right.
And one of the final steps in where you can really be sure that we are now serious in whatever we are doing in terms of moving on into production is signing of the final investment decision.
Okay.
Basically, the final investment decision, the oil and gas sector is a very it's capital intensive.
Yes.
You need a lot of money.
Yeah.
And our government, our national oil company is so young, it can't afford to pay the money. So we need we need international oil companies.
Investors.
And for this case, we had Sinok and Total. And in the first place, we also had Tullow
Yes,
Oil.
I remember
But
the
just
deal.
recently, Tullow withdrew.
Pulled out, yeah.
Yes, and when it pulled out, that actually it lagged us behind, and I actually personally thought first FID would actually not be this soon because really there were so many protracted tax wrangles and all those things to sort. And so what happens is these international oil companies, when they come here, they have come to make profit. We also want to make profit. We want the oil and gas sector to benefit people,
us,
Yeah.
create a lasting benefit to society. And so it's a counteraction between two effects. One, you want to benefit from the oil, you want it to be sustainable, you want it to develop us,
Yes.
you want to increase our GDP to get us out of poverty.
Ideally.
Now, on the other side, the international oil companies are coming, they want to make profit. And so, what are your terms and conditions on table? And for our particular case, the oil and gas is in a very biologically diverse region with
Alberta
so many,
region, yeah.
almost 40% of the world's bird species, with mammals, so we cannot afford to just enter into the oil and gas sector just like that. And so we put terms and conditions, the taxes, everything, and these companies have to see, can we really make money? Because it's not a matter of doing. And so yesterday, the final investment decision, basically, it's in simple terms, the oil and gas companies go on a round table and agree to invest their money here. They have allowed the terms and conditions, and yesterday they sealed, it was concretized, cemented, and therefore they can't now pull out. They have now mobilized the funds and committed to fund the oil and gas sector.
2025 is the year.
Wow.
A team of individuals with impeccable record, both in the disciplines they have studied, they qualify, and two, the experience that they have. The contracts, it's one thing really to put up good policies, because the policies are really good. We have now capacity, we have the different stakeholders for regulation, for all these things, and so that's the first confidence that really we are headed for the future.
Yes.
But then again, I can't rule out politics.
Yeah.
Because many countries have produced oil. Nigeria discovered its first oil in 1956, and it's Africa's largest producer of oil.
But they have about 2 refineries, right?
Yes,
2.
they do.
Yes.
And they also had, I think they started with policies and all these things, but commitment, keeping focused and committed is one of the things that we really need to keep seeing in the oil and gas sector. At the point we are on right now, so good. But we really need consistency. And we are also part of the extractive industry transparency initiative, whereby we are expected to really become transparent about the what we are getting in the oil and gas sector, the funding and all these things. And so I hope that with those moves, we are headed for the right direction. But like I've told you, the most important thing right now is commitment.
Yes.
The most important thing is efficient and effective management of the resource. And for that, I really can't guarantee you, I can't say it's going to be a blessing or it's going to be. For now, where we are in the right position, we are ready to move. FID has been signed, but we still have a long way to go. We really need people who are selfless in terms of management. And that's the only way we are going to see the oil and gas sector benefiting people, create a lasting benefit to society.
Amazing. And I like the fact that you've said that the opportunity is here and we need to just position ourselves. Now, first of all, the figures here are very interesting. Okay, we have $10 billion for investment, and 40% of it is to be to prioritize local content. That is local production from local suppliers. And you know, many people I've actually heard from some people who are from PAO and others saying that they are worried that Ugandan suppliers may not be ready to meet, because if you say a Ugandan company can also be a supplier, if you look at what exactly a Ugandan company is, a Ugandan, the nitty-gritties of what it is, employing 70% of people. So that means even a foreigner can employ 70% of people.
Sure.
And you know, what exactly for 40% to benefit local people? How can, as Ugandans,
Other companies
how is
ready?
It's not even about other companies ready. How is PAO going to make this a realization?
Yes, that's a very, very nice question. Now, there's been a lot of investment since about 3 years ago. And it's expected that last year they spent, I think, about 500 million.
Yes,
We still do have Mr. Davis Ampumuza in studio with us. He is a petroleum geoscientist, and trust me, he's dropping some gems.
Hey!
I know more about petroleum
I'm
today,
educated.
right now, than I did yesterday at this time. And I'm very glad about that. Thank you so much again for joining us for the show. And we've been talking about the FID, the Final Investment Decision, concerning the oil project 2025 in the Lake Albert region. If you know you're from that area, we might be visiting.
your land has gained
we
value.
might be tired of Kampala sunshine. Yes, but we were just talking before we went for the break. We were talking about how the Petroleum Association is going to make it a realization for 40% of this of the $10 billion investment to go to supporting and prioritizing local content.
Thank you very much. I was on the point of saying they have this year it's expected that 2022 about $3 billion will be spent now after FID.
Okay.
3. You know, it's we are expecting that over $10 billion is going to be spent in this sector. And at some point, I think either this year or last year, some point in cabinet meeting, they resolved that 40% of contracts should go to oil companies, meaning that in every 10 contracts, at least 4 are going to Ugandan companies.
At least.
Yes,
Which
4.
is good.
4 going to Ugandan companies. Now, that's a local content. That's what we have been. There's a national local content policy now that was passed in Parliament, also advocating for the same. But the biggest challenge with this sector is that they are not lowering their standards to your level.
Yes.
You must meet their standards.
Must
And that's where the
rise
challenge is. I'm also a graduate. I recently finished from Makerere University. Even when they are employing, they're not going to come to your level. You have to see what certifications do they need,
to be employed.
what training do I need to undertake, what do I need. And so the biggest challenge here is the availability of these trainings. Honestly, if you are not trained, if you are not to that level, these companies are not going to take you.
They don't
I have a lecturer, my friend, they were in the field, and I think it was with, I think, Talo Oil, and one of the I think the employees fell sick just from food poisoning, and since then they cancelled. The next time they were going, all the food they were eating, apples were imported from South Africa. You can imagine they were in a trip with feeding on apples imported from South Africa. Why would a South African farmer provide us with apple?
Yes.
We have apples here.
And
Yes, you can plant apples here.
Yeah.
They want something, because once a part of the crew, once a person falls sick, they are going to spend a lot of money taking them out, because they pay them a lot of money. They have trained them, and they do a very, very significant part of the work, and therefore it's very, very important. And so that's the biggest challenge. How are these Ugandan companies ready? The Petroleum Authority of Uganda has put up a national suppliers database where you can get registered. That's one. It's prerequisite. That's one of the things you have to do. But then, what skills do you have? The competencies, and we have the Uganda Petroleum Institute Kigumba, which has now just recently, the other day, has got another certification. It's now a center. It's internationally certified, a center for training, and so it's now going to be the duty of one, the mandate of government, and also individuals to see how training. Because if government doesn't sponsor for these trainings,
Then
they are not going to
in trouble.
then you'll be in trouble. If you can get a way of getting the training, the better. But the thing is, we have to be to the standards, and therefore that's the biggest worry. How prepared are we? Do we know what these people need? Do we know the standards? Do we know the skills that we need to equip ourselves with so that we can be employable?
Yes.
Because these companies have not come to play, they have come to do
come to
business,
business.
and they have
Yeah.
come to stay on their standard, their top
Oil
notch.
and gas is a business like any other sector.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which I like, which I really appreciate, and I think it's also an opportunity for Ugandan companies to improve their quality. Many times we've been talking about bubu. When we talk about bubu,
Buy Uganda,
yeah,
build Uganda.
we quickly rush to quality. Our quality, what is so? It's an opportunity to do that.
So the FID is looking at harnessing 240,000 barrels per day, But then my question is, we're excited about 2025 being the first oil drop. How sustainable is the oil sector in Uganda? Do we have a lot of oil to go for like years and years, or are we going to go like 10 years and we're out?
Well, that's a very interesting question. Now, the oil and gas sector indeed is a finite resource. It's going to be here for a specific time and to be done. For instance, this oil may be here for just 25 years and to be normal. But the unique position of Uganda is that we have different basins, and for now we are talking about the Albertine Graben, where we have done exploration in only about 40% of the region,
40%.
and now we have 60% of the region left for exploration, and therefore we still have
We are rich.
potential for oil. The other thing is what many people are not even talking about. I have my lecturer, my former lecturer at Makerere University, he told us the chemistry of the well also changes sometimes when production begins. We have seen scenarios where production begins and what they expected, they can actually increase the amount per day of barrels.
Right.
And therefore we still have that as well. We also have other basins, like the Moroto Kadam Basin, in other different regions of the country, whereby all that acreage is now up for exploration. So we need to put in more energy into exploration. And therefore, I can now say we have a huge potential for oil, and just even beyond what we expect now. But the point, the real fact of the matter is oil is a finite resource. It's going to be here for even if it's 40 years. Once the 40 years are done, we do restitution or decommissioning and taking
And
back
set it up.
the area to its original position, trees growing again, and therefore that's why we need to very effectively and efficiently manage this resource. It's not like tourism. For instance, we earn more than $1 billion from tourism every single year, but tourism is here forever as long as we keep conserving the biodiversity.
Yes.
And so oil is not surely the most lucrative sector of the economy. So that's why we also need, in order to prevent the Dutch disease, we also need to counteract the effect between so many people coming to crowd the sector and leaving other sectors.
What's the Dutch disease?
He's even trying to explain the Dutch
So
disease.
now the Dutch disease, it's
or the oil curse,
yes,
as you like to
yes,
call it.
like you said, it's a condition where so many people rush now. When now like this oil is
Like the gold
lucrative,
rush.
they leave the non-oil sectors of the economy, agriculture. Remember now
Tourism,
our backbone
coffee.
is agriculture. Now imagine so many people coming to crowd the oil and gas
Switching from
sector,
those sectors.
investing here, and there are no other people. After some time, when the oil is no more,
We'll be in
food,
trouble.
famine,
Yeah.
these other non-oil sectors of the economy are collapsing. The imports. So in order to avoid all this, we need to counteract the effect. Yes, we should be really excited about the oil and gas sector, but we should do the right thing. The essential sectors we should keep up. We shouldn't really stop investing in them, like agriculture. That's where, and then it also brings us back in terms, where do we invest our oil money?
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
is
That's
important.
the big one.
That's
So that
key.
actually makes now it makes it very essential. That's where we see the non-oil sectors of the economy continuing to boom if you are investing more money into
the
yes.
Wow. It's
As we
been
summarize,
yeah.
as we summarize,
I just had a quick one. I know that oil is here for a specific period of time. How do we balance the oil and the environmentalists, people who are pushing for moving away from fossil fuels to clean energy?
Yeah, that's a very very interesting question, and I think those of you who watched yesterday, there was a debate like that
Yes.
with the president. We are moving, surely we are moving to cleaner energy, and Total itself, Total has
Total
rebranded.
Energies now.
It's now Total Energies.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think the point still stands. Personally, I think they have only said 40 years, but from what I see, I think we still have about 70 years
For the switch.
for the switch.
Okay.
That's my personal analysis. But we can go with the proposed 40 years analysis, because it's true. There's a lot we can actually do apart from fuel.
Yeah.
From oil, and I also leave a gap of R&D, research and development. I'm a passionate researcher myself.
You look like one.
I believe that we shall discover a lot more things that oil can actually do, and so I think oil is still here for some time.
Perfect. Just a quick one, as we summarize. Just let us know how can Ugandan companies position themselves in these next 3 years?
This windfall.
How can they get ready? If somebody says they want to be a supplier, just give 3 keys of how a Ugandan company can position itself to
Number
surely.
one, which is one of the biggest problems we have as Africans. I'm a writer. We don't read.
So read.
We don't invest in getting knowledge. The first thing, we must know where the information is and make sure because most of these things are there actually. But people don't make a step to equip themselves.
Right.
So number one, we need to know what is needed. Where can we find this information? Who can we inquire from? Because people are not going to come to you if you don't listen to radio, if you don't read newspapers. Then number two, we have to after getting the information, for instance, there are a few things I've said. If you are an individual, you have to get listed on the talent register of Petroleum Authority of Uganda. So really, if you need a job and you're not listed on the talent register, how do you want people to help you? Then also get listed to the National Suppliers Database. Having done that, you now need to get to know the nuggets, what you need to compete. And that's, of course, where the challenge is. Whether you're going to be sponsored by government, whether there are free training opportunities, or if you're going to do a personal investment, which of course it's not something I would really love to see people spending part of their savings to actually invest, because some people don't even have the money, but you need to anyway in order to compete. So I believe those are the main 3 things that we need to do.
And at this point in time, would like to thank.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yes.
Some books there.
This has been a very enlightening conversation.
You may be kind enough to give us one to read or 2. but thank you. It's been a pleasure hosting you. I know we shall have you back here. Maybe someone to explain about the data. What is it called? The one where people can apply
The
for
talent register.
the talent register. So we'll do that. But thank you very much and for enlightening us, and we pray that you have a blessed day.
It's been a pleasure being on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.